Today we have Rita Agarra to be our guest speaker. Hi, thank you, Rita, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Rita is one of a world-class adjudicator and have a lot of achievements. So I'm going to only mention a few, but all the detail I put into the description so you can check it out. So she is a Blackpool and UK International Standard Rising Star finalist, two-time US National Class Show Dance Champions, whoa. And also she a co-organizer for King's Ball Dance Competition in New Jersey and International Grand Ball in San Francisco, California. So some of them is coming up. So thank you so much for joining us. So
thank you for having me and thinking of having me.
So the first questions I have with you is that what is the most important things that do you look at when you judge a dancer at the competition?
Well, you know, judging is a very interesting job that we have. You know, I say always, is the dream job that anyone wants to have. You have to dress up, put the makeup on, and offer your opinion. And that's a dream job. But honestly, it's a very complicated process that goes in our heads, in my head at this point. You know, I will be only talking about myself, of course, because I don't know how other people approach. And that's the reason why there is always multiple of us. You know, it's never one judge. It's always 5, 7, 9, 11, 15, some championship up to 25 judges. The reason is it's unfortunately, a very opinion-based process. Whatever important for certain people, that's what we prioritize. So there are always components to things, and the different views on the same idea. So for example, you can look at couple and say, okay, how the couple looks, right? It's very important to look apart, and that's why you, Irene, come in with your beautiful gowns, and that's why people, you know, spend so much money, because I always joke about it with my students. You wouldn't go to the swimming pool in a fur coat. You have to have swimming trunks. You have to have a hat. So same thing with ballroom. There are rules, and we want to see historically gentlemen wearing tuxedo or tail suit and lady wearing beautiful gown. That's why we call ballroom dancers, right? Because even Latin American is part of the same ballroom dance industry. And so that's important. The makeup, the hair, everything is very important. But that's basically how we see you guys walking on the floor. I'm not judging ever anyone by just the look. I love beautiful things. I love beautiful people. I love gorgeous makeup. So of course, if I see beautifully groomed couple coming onto the floor, nicely combed hair for the man, beautifully fitted clothes, of course I will mention to myself, wow, this couple looks good. And then they start dancing. And then for me, everything goes back to what I know as a dancer from my own experience, as a teacher, as a ballroom specialist. And there are boxes to check, right? Which music, frame, technical abilities of footwork for Latin Cuban motion, beauty of the legs of the feet, connection between dancers. So then we as judges have our priorities, what we believe is the most important thing at this moment. And to be honest with you, it varies depending on the category that I'm judging. So I'll give you the example for Pro-Am, for example. I love Pro-Am industry. I think that America was genius to come up with this, absolutely genius. It opened the opportunity for ladies, because it's more of us want to dance. It opened the opportunity for us to experience something that not everybody in the other circumstances would have experienced, which is dancing with amazing partner. And not just ladies, even gentlemen. Right now, it's a huge male group that are wonderful male dancers, dancing with fantastic lady teachers, and the same for the ladies. So we have an opportunity to experience what dancing really is. So when I judge pro-am, for me, the most important thing is when I see that the lady is not being dragged around the floor by her teacher, when she is actually improving her own balance, producing her own musical interpretation, of course, being partnered by a teacher and being helped in the moments when it's necessary. But at the end of the day, I always say to my students when I go around the country and I coach a lot. And actually interesting because in my own, studio in New Jersey, we have a big, junior studio where very, very, high-level junior competitors who are national champions and world champions. But when I go and coach around the country, I work a lot with pro-am students. And the first thing that I always say to the ladies, I saw you come into the ballroom on your own 2 feet. Nobody was carrying you into the ballroom. When you start dancing, you don't need crutches. You can do it yourself. And that's what I'm actually looking for. I'm looking for the pure effort to do what we do as pros. Because in pro-am, you are dancing with your teacher and your teacher is teaching you on the lessons. But when you're at the competition, he is your partner. For that minute and a half of that waltz or that cha-cha, this is your dance partner. So your job is to do your 50%.
That's so amazing. I really love what you said. On my foot, this is my coach always said, I'm not carrying you. You need to do your own. That really resounding. Remind me again and again, we need to practice and stand on our foot.
Of course. And of course, when I'm judging, amateurs, when it's in lower age groups, I want to see pure work on basic fundamentals. Is it a footwork? Is it rise and fall and standard? Is it frame? Is it, partnering and feeling each other? That would be my priority for the younger generations, right? Or younger kids. In Latin, gorgeous, beautifully articulated feet, nice, beautiful pendulum action of the hips, isolating Cuban motion of the hips and stuff like this. Musicality, pure rhythm of the music, for me to see the understanding of what 3/4, quarter one really means, because everybody uses this term. Oh, well, the basic timing of samba is 3/4, quarter one. And then you dig a little bit deeper and they have no idea what it means. It just sounds fun. So, things like that. And then when you judge a high level professionals or amateurs in this matter, that is totally different ballgame. Everybody is capable. Everybody is very well trained. And that's when you start looking at the, other more sophisticated things, such as connection between them and musical interpretation and silhouette. For standard, I judge, especially in the preliminary rounds, I base my opinion a lot on the silhouette, that I know how the couple should look like in every figure. So it's a very interesting process because it's also time restricted. I remember when I just retired from competitive dancing and I was judging one of my first competitions, I thought to myself, well, I remember how important it was for me to be judged by, judges and give me their attention and really look at me. And I did that. And I had to call back 12 couples. Well, at the end of the dance, I had six on my page because I gave everybody too much time. So then what did I do? I panicked and I started just like, oh, this one. It was the worst feeling because you literally realize that no, you don't have much time. It has to be based on an instant impression, instant boom, instant kind of comparison. And that's what you do. And I had to really learn to be okay with it. I had to learn to say, no, you are doing your job because that's how much time you have. And it's much better to do it quick and all of it than really thoroughly half of it.
That is very interesting perspective that we can understand from your point of view. So you need to really do it quick. So now related to the quick judging, right? So there's a question from some of our fellow students asking and say, when do you start judging? So are we walking into the room, or some people tell me that actually you start judging even outside of the room, or you even look at people outside the ballroom. And one of my friends said, oh, I see the judges start writing before the music start. When do you start judging, and where you are judging us?
So just to put this myth to bed, like completely get this out of it, because you guys don't understand, but when we get judging ballots, we have to put our name down on it. We have to put our judging number down. We have to circle the dance. We have to put down how many couples out of how many we choose. So when you see judge starts writing before the music starts, we're not judging, we're filling up our ballot. Good. So so because people sometimes come up with this, and it's an easy, like I hear these excuses all the time. Somebody who did not succeed at that particular competition, maybe didn't win or didn't make the final, they're looking for excuses for excuses to justify why. So the first excuse that comes up, of course, well, judges are not doing their job. They are political. They are looking at something that they already preset their mind. So they are marking those couples first. So that is very hurtful for us. And this is very not true. And I would like everybody to understand that I'm talking about myself. I love what I do to the point where I would hate myself if I would ever be accused, if I would ever do anything on that matter, such as mark someone based on my like or dislike. The reason that we notice things is because, for example, I was brought up when I came to this country, and Katyusha Demidova and Jonathan Wilkins were my coaches. I remember Jonathan saying to us, you don't walk into the ballroom wearing jeans. Never. I remember my partner, we just came and we ran into the ballroom, next to the ballroom, not even into the ballroom, but in a, registration area. We were still wearing our sweatsuits, because we were traveling, we were driving. He saw us, he called us, and he said, you go to your room, you dress nicely, and you come down, dressed nicely, so people see you at your best. And the reason why he would say it, not because people are judging us, it's because our industry calls ballroom dancing. Ballroom came from the balls, where people would dress up with their best clothes ever and come down to socialize, spend time together and dance. So we need to maintain this level. And I remember Peter Maxwell at Blackpool sending out of the ballroom in front of everybody, one of the stars on TV nowadays. He sent him out of the ballroom because he was wearing T-tank inside Blackpool ballroom, inside Winter Gardens. And he told him, young man, please leave, you cannot be here wearing that. And I absolutely agree with this. So do we look at people, how they dress? Of course. Do I notice when I see torn jeans, which is very fashionable, and I have no problem. And I own torn jeans when I go for a walk or I go to the city for the weekend, of course. But would I go in my torn jeans into the ballroom? Of course not. So yes, we are looking. Now, will it mean if I see this person that I will judge him based on the jeans he was wearing before? No, absolutely not. But if it's my student, next time I see this person, I would say, you never ever come to the ballroom wearing this. And that's what I talk to my kids, my students. They know no jeans, no sneaking into the ballroom from the back entrance, no disrespect to the industry, no disrespect to the organizers. You say hello to everybody. You act respectfully. So for me, I only judge. Do I start judging when couples walk onto the floor? I don't start judging. I start having an impression. An impression. Of course, I look at couples when they walk onto the floor. If I see the couple walking with beautiful posture, they're gonna dance probably having a beautiful posture. If I see someone standing and waiting for the dance to start and they stand like this, well, you lost me. That's what you stand and look for. So posture, poise is so important. So yes, of course, I'm looking at them, how they walk onto the floor. Of course, but am I gonna put the couple first before they take a frame and take a first natural turn? I might, after I've seen the natural turn. I might, because for me, it's enough. Natural turn, further step, you're good.
Great. Oh, this is so good. Need to remind myself. Sometimes I did not even get to that focus. So I know that we always dress up, but what you said, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you for the reminding. So with a short time, so if you give one piece of advice for competitive dancer, especially pro-am dancer like me, what would you be advising them to do?
Are you asking me about how to compete, how to gather yourself to compete, or you're asking me about how you train for competition? What angle exactly do you want me to address?
It can be both. It can be both. So okay. Yes.
I want you all guys to remember one important phrase that I've learned and I actually experienced myself. And that sentence is, knowledge is power. So I'll give you an example. In my life, I immigrated 2 times. I was born in Soviet Union, and then at age 24, I moved to Israel. And I lived in Israel for 9 years. My son was born in Israel. And then after 9 years, and I had an absolute wonderful life in Israel. I was, and that's probably one of the questions that you ask, what people don't know about me.
Next video.
Okay, so I will not say. So then I immigrated to the United States. So twice in my life, I had to learn to live in a new country and speak new language. And I have to tell you, I know exactly how it feels to feel stupid when you cannot communicate. So when you don't know something, it always, you don't look secure, you don't feel secure, and you don't know what's going on around you. I always compare dancing as a language. So for you to be absolutely secure in what you're doing and feeling good about it, just learn. So my biggest advice for everybody, be curious, know what you don't know. And I love this phrase, but it's not mine. I remember it's actually one of my son's Latin coaches said. She said, know what you don't know. It was genius. It's fantastic because the moment you know what you don't know, you are going to dig and start learning it. And the moment you start realizing all the ins and outs, it's like being a kid in a candy store. You cannot wait to show people what you've learned. Look, I can do this, and I also can do this. And now my hand goes there, and I can do this lowering. And it becomes exciting. And that's my first advice. Second advice that I always give to my students is don't ever wait until you're ready to compete. You never will be. You can't learn competing by not competing.
I totally agree with that. So just go do it. Yeah.
Of course. So give yourself deadline and think about competition is not as a final exam. Think about it as a building block. It's a slice in time. This is where you are right now. Do it. Next time you compete, compare videos and notice, is it better? It's not always going to be better. It sometimes goes up and down. It fluctuates. It's exactly like a market. It goes up and it goes down. But at the end of the day, if our portfolio keeps creeping up, even with some ups and downs, we are making money. So this is about dancing. Just keep pushing, keep working. One of my first coach ever in Belarus, in Minsk, Mikhail Berun, used to say, 1 competition equals 10 lessons.
Makes sense. Yeah, I so appreciate everything you said. I learned a lot today. Thank you so much. I hope you find this video useful, and please give me a thumbs up and click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And click the little bell button as well, so when I have a new video comes out, you will be notified.